Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Onix Radio. So today, we're going to be having a little bit of a look at a new Brock supporter card. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And just like the Misty's card we looked at yesterday, this is one of these hyper-specific cards, which can only be used for certain Pokemon. Is it any good? Depends on the Pokemon, I suppose. According to the lovely David Hochmann, I mean, look, we get our translation from David. You know that. I know that. Shouldn't be terribly surprising at this stage. You can attach an energy card from your hand to a Geodude, Graveler, Golem, Onix GX, Cubone, Rhyhorn, Rhydon, or Sudowoodo. Cool. Now, the first and most obvious use here is Onix GX. Attaching extra energy is good, make no mistake about that. Now, to be fair, this isn't Zinnia. Zinnia allows you to attach 2 energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. But if you're going to do that, you best have had a Pokemon KO'd the previous turn. And you can only attach it to Dragon Pokemon. Having said that, only attaching to one type is nowhere near as restrictive as only attaching to 8 specific Pokemon. If you haven't guessed, they are Pokemon that Brock has, essentially. So, okay, this could be good. And look, attaching extra energy is generally good. And okay, it's your supporter card for the turn. But we got so much draw at the moment, things like a Rangaroo and Zeb Striker, that we don't need to use our supporter cards for draw in the same way as we did back in the Heart Gold Soul Silver era, for instance. So I have no particular problem in terms of just accelerating to those Pokemon. I can live with it, as long as they need the energy. And if we have a look at Onix, it doesn't. Now, I talked about this in my Onix video. Obviously, I will link this one in the description. My problem here is that Onix as a Pokemon, I mean, it's huge, right? And as far as I'm concerned, the way you play Onix is extremely straightforward. It's got 200 HP. It can use Brawny Pads, giving it an extra 50 HP. You use Pewter City Gym, which reduces damage done to it by 40. And then you use the first attack, which on a coin flip paralyzes. So you've got a 250 HP Pokemon that's taking 40 less from attacks, and you're paralyzing every other turn, or if you're playing Victini, which you should be, 3 out of 4 turns. And if you're playing it like that, and I do believe, like I've said sincerely, that that is by far the best way to play it, I do expect this to be a wall deck that's played in the TCG, well, it's a single energy attack. So you don't need to accelerate energy. So I thought, well, just like I did in the Misty's video, why don't I show you every card to which you can accelerate extra energy using this supporter card? Now, the first thing to note is that Golem, Graveler, and Geodude are not the same as a Alolan Geodude, a Alolan Graveler, and a Alolan Golem. They are not the same. We have no Geodude, Graveler, and Golem in standard at the moment. They don't exist. We don't have them. This is not ideal. Moving swiftly on. In terms of Onix GX, we've talked about it. Now, we don't have many Marowak around at the moment, by which I mean there are none. But a Alolan Marowak evolves from Cubone. So we can actually use this for any Alolan Marowak. Yay! And the important thing to remember is you can attach any energy card from your hand. It does not say basic energy card. It is any energy card whatsoever. So this is actually not bad. So we've got the one from Crimson Invasion. Fire, colorless, 70 damage. For each coin you can flip heads on from 2. And if either of them is heads, your opponent's active is now burned. So if you can flip double heads, 140 plus burn, one head, 70 plus burn, no heads, nothing. So you can use this to accelerate a bit of extra energy. I don't know if it's the best way to do so, but I don't mind it. What I like an awful lot better is the Alolan Marowak from Forbidden Light, which for a double colorless energy allows you to do 20 damage for each Alolan Pokemon that you have in play. Now, that's not bad. 120 with a full bench. I mean, if you're going to expand and use Skyfield, you can be up to 180 with a full bench, but this will do for now. And I know this isn't amazing at the moment, but in the future, if we have a draw engine from an Alolan Pokemon, this will be really good. And this will allow you to attach a double colorless energy from your hand to this Pokemon, as well as attaching an energy just normally for the turn. So this I like rather a lot indeed. And then we've got Rhyhorn and Rhydon, okay, but really here, we're talking Rhyperior. And the good news is we do have a good Rhyperior. And it is a Rhyperior that's seen a little bit of success lately. It is the one from Burning Shadows, but it's really played for the ability. When you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may discard the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. And this is why people play this Rhyperior. It is played to mill your opponent. It's not really played for any other reason. And the problem with this is that you don't need any energy for that. Now, if you get a bunch of energy on there, yay, 170 damage, that's quite a lot. That's a lot of damage. Not affected by weakness or resistance. Well, I quite like the whole not being affected by resistance. I do not like not being affected by weakness, because we got things like Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX that won't be KO'd by 170 even with a Choice Band and a Diancie Prism Star. You'll be doing 220, they've got 240, but is weak. Gee whiz, wouldn't it be better if you were hitting for weakness? Yes! Yes, it really would. But you're not. And this is a stage where we start getting really worried. Because Golem, there are none. Onix GX doesn't need it. Alolan Marowak, okay, there's one. Rhyperior doesn't want it. Which leaves all of our hopes on Sudowoodo. Well, no. Sudowoodo is a terrible use for this card. We have 2 Sudowoodo at the moment. We've got the one from Lost Thunder. 1 fighting energy, 20 damage. If this Pokemon was damaged by an attack during your opponent's last turn, while it was active, 100 for a fighting energy. Now, on the one hand, with a Diancie Prism Star, it will counter a Zoroark. On the other hand, there is absolutely no way you're going to get away with this. Your opponent's just going to go, hey, I don't hit you, you do 20 damage. Cool. Or they just one-hit you, and then you don't get it. It's a terrible attack. Great in theory, never going to work. Okay, what about the Sudowoodo from Guardians Rising that does 40 damage for 2 energy? Now look, I will concede that it does need a second energy. But who's putting a second energy on here? I hope no one. I really hope no one. This is not good, ladies and gentlemen. This is really not good. And that's the problem I have with this supporter card. In theory, this is a fine supporter card that allows you to accelerate energy and all is good. But no Golem. Onix doesn't want it. I mean, Alolan Marowak can use it, but it's still a single energy attack. Rhyperior doesn't want it. Sudowoodo doesn't want it. And we're left with this card, which in theory can accelerate energy to a whole bunch of Pokemon, but in reality can accelerate energy to a whole bunch of Pokemon that doesn't want them. But herein lies the caveat, ladies and gentlemen. Because this will not last forever. We're going to be getting more of these Pokemon as time goes by, including Alolan Marowak GX. I mean, fire, double colorless, 90 damage, both active Pokemon are burned. It's not amazing, but gee whiz, it needs a fire and a double colorless, so actually this supporter card would come in very, very handy. But you gotta have the energy in hand, and there's just no good uses for it. I still believe this is a really good supporter card. We just don't have any good uses for it. So at the moment, I'm giving it 3 Wassies, which is definitely over generous. But the thing is, at the moment, it's probably nearer like a 2 Wassie card. But in the future, it could be the single card that makes an okay card into a game-breaking phenomenal card, at which point this becomes a 5 Wassie card. So I just give it, 3 Wassies and I feel alright about myself. But I want to know how you feel about this card. Oh look, there's a comment section. Go nuts, ladies and gentlemen, but please do remember the most important rule of all. Be nice, would you? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays for some more Wassie action. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.